The Bold and the Beautiful, the rise and fall of Liam and Steffy's journey. In the dramatic world of The Bold and the Beautiful, where relationships are tested and secrets are kept, Liam and Steffy's journey has taken a tragic and emotional turn. Recent plot developments suggest that Steffy and Liam are about to undergo a profound change in their lives, one that will impact not only their relationship, but the entire Forrester family. With the revelation of Liam's terminal illness and the ongoing developments surrounding Steffy, the show is gearing up for another emotional roller coaster. Let's dive into these latest developments and speculate about what could happen next. Liam's struggle with the truth, denial and departure. Liam, a character whose life has been filled with drama, heartache, and emotional turmoil, finds himself facing the ultimate test. Diagnosed with an incurable terminal brain tumor, Liam chooses to keep his condition a secret. He does not want to accept the fate that has been handed to him, preferring instead to maintain a facade of normalcy. The decision is a difficult one, not only for him but also for those around him, especially Steffy, who has always had a deep connection with Liam. Despite the bleak prognosis, Liam insists on receiving treatment, albeit privately, away from Los Angeles. His decision to leave town with Steffy is pivotal, as it gives him the opportunity to seek a viable treatment for his condition, but also alienates him from his family and friends. Liam's decision to hide his condition may stem from his reluctance to face his mortality, but it also puts a strain on his relationships, especially with Hope, who is still unaware of the severity of the situation. For Steffy, this time away from Los Angeles could mark a turning point. It's clear that she still loves Liam very much, but the stress of his health battle and the emotional toll it's taken on their family could cause her to rethink their future together. The news of Liam's illness has shaken Steffy, and being away from Los Angeles could be an opportunity for her to come to terms with what's about to happen to her, Liam, and their family. A new beginning for Liam, transformation or tragedy. Liam's decision to seek treatment and a potential cure is a risky one, and it raises questions about the character's future. As the series progresses, it becomes clear that Liam's time away will change him significantly. Whether or not the treatment works, Liam will likely return to Los Angeles a different person, physically, mentally, and emotionally. One of the main themes that emerges is Liam's potential change. Some fans have expressed concern that Liam's character will undergo a major change, possibly becoming more selfish and cruel in the face of his own mortality. With a possible miracle cure, some viewers have speculated that Liam's survival may come at the expense of his morality. The idea of Liam changing from a beloved, self-sacrificing character to a darker person has sparked much discussion among fans. One fan wrote, "Liam is becoming selfish. His actions seem more about satisfying his own desires than thinking about Steffy or anyone else. If he survives this, will he be the man we once knew, or will he become a villain in his own story?" This new dynamic could set the stage for a thrilling yet heartbreaking chapter in Liam's story, with a moral dilemma at the core of his actions. The idea of a cure coming from Switzerland and transforming Liam's character suggests the potential for dramatic change. If he returns as a completely different person, one even more cunning and ruthless, it would be a devastating development for Steffy, Hope, and everyone who has invested in his character over the years. Will Liam's newfound survival instincts override his morals and past relationships, or will he rediscover what's truly important before it's too late? As Liam seeks treatment, Steffy's storyline takes a mysterious and disturbing turn. After arriving at the airport with Liam, Steffy suddenly disappears without a trace. Her absence is not only shocking, but raises a host of questions about her fate. Did something happen to Steffy during their trip? Was she kidnapped, or did she decide to leave on her own? Liam's condition is getting worse, and Steffy's sudden disappearance only adds to the chaos. It's unclear whether Steffy's disappearance is related to Liam's illness or a sign of deeper personal struggles. Did she leave to deal with her own emotional turmoil, or was there more to it? The sudden void left by Steffy's absence is deeply felt by everyone, especially Liam, who has always relied on her for support. The mystery surrounding Steffy's disappearance could fuel the next phase of the storyline, as Liam grapples not only with his health, but also with the mystery of Steffy's whereabouts. Was her departure due to her distress over Liam's health, or is there something darker going on? This mystery is sure to keep viewers on their toes, wondering if Steffy will return, and if so, under what circumstances. Hope finds herself in a difficult situation as she grapples with Liam's deteriorating health and Steffy's sudden disappearance. Not knowing the full extent of Liam's illness, Hope is torn between wanting to support her ex-husband and trying to maintain the stability of her family with Finn. Hope's possible reunion with Liam has been a topic of speculation for fans for some time. Given the circumstances surrounding Liam's illness, Hope may find herself reconsidering her feelings for him. A possible reunion between Hope and Liam could be on the horizon, especially if Liam's health takes a turn for the worse. However, Hope's loyalty to Finn and her commitment to their family complicate matters. She may feel torn between her past with Liam and her present with Finn. One fan shared, Hope may realize that she still has feelings for Liam, especially now that it's too late. But will she choose to support him in his final days or stay with Finn and protect the family she's built? This emotional dilemma could become one of the most heartbreaking storylines for Hope, as she grapples with the possibility of losing Liam while still trying to protect her relationship with Finn. As Liam faces his impending fate and Steffy's disappearance adds drama, the Forrester family is thrown into uncertainty. The events ahead will challenge the relationships between the characters and force them to confront their deepest fears and desires. Ridge, Eric, and the rest of the Forrester family will be forced to come to terms with the chaos that's rapidly unfolding around them. Liam's battle with terminal illness, Steffy's disappearance, and the complicated relationship between Hope, Finn, and Liam will test the limits of loyalty, love, and forgiveness. Ultimately, the Forrester family will be forced to come to terms with what truly matters, whether it's family, love, or the bonds that bind them together in times of crisis. The upcoming chapters of The Bold and the Beautiful are shaping up to be some of the most dramatic and emotional in the show's history. With complex character dynamics, intense emotional struggles, and unexpected twists and turns, viewers can expect a roller coaster ride that will leave them eager to see more. Only time will tell what the future holds for Liam, Steffy, Hope, and the Forrester family. In the quiet moments following the tragedy that rocked Los Angeles, a new ripple of emotion began to spread throughout the Forrester family and beyond. Amidst the devastating aftermath of Taylor Hayes' death, news emerged that would soon shift the dynamic once again. Thomas Forrester, long absent from many pivotal moments in his mother's recent life, was officially making his way back to town. His imminent return was confirmed not only through whispers among the Forresters, but by an official announcement that set the town buzzing. Thomas would soon land in Los Angeles, and his homecoming promised to add yet another layer of drama to the already combustible situation. The actor behind the beloved and controversial character, Matthew Atkinson, shared personal insights that only added to the anticipation surrounding Thomas's return. Speaking candidly, Atkinson revealed that he had enjoyed a meaningful break away from the spotlight, spending precious time with family, reconnecting with life beyond the cameras, and allowing himself to recharge. The break had been healing, restorative, but as he acknowledged, there was unfinished business in Los Angeles. The stories waiting for Thomas were too powerful, too emotional, too essential for him to stay away any longer. It was not just a narrative return, but a deeply personal one, tied inexorably to the heartbreak surrounding Taylor's sudden death. As news of the devastating events spread the fire at Forrester Creations, the heart attack that claimed Taylor's life, and the bitter accusations flung across hospital rooms and family gatherings, Thomas could no longer remain on the sidelines. His absence at some of the recent critical milestones of his mother's life had weighed on him even before her death. To miss her final farewell was unthinkable. Thomas knew he had to come home for her, for himself, for the family left in pieces. The confirmation that Taylor Hayes had succumbed to a heart attack, compounded by the chaos of the fire, added layers of sorrow to an already unbearable tragedy. Taylor, once a vibrant and stabilizing presence in the Forrester family, was now gone, leaving a void that no one could ever hope to fill. Her loss reverberated through every conversation, every tearful glance, every angry outburst between the Forresters and Logans. As Thomas boarded the plane that would take him back to Los Angeles, a complex web of emotions gripped him. Guilt gnawed at the edges of his soul, guilt for not being there, guilt for the arguments left unresolved, for the moments not shared, for the final goodbye he had been denied. There was grief, heavy and suffocating, wrapping itself around his chest until every breath was an effort. And there was anger, a slow-burning rage at the circumstances, at the senselessness of it all, and perhaps even at himself. The flight seemed endless, a painful stretch of time where memories flooded his mind. He remembered Taylor's laughter, her guidance, her fierce love for her children. He remembered her endless forgiveness, even when he had stumbled, even when he had disappointed her. Taylor had believed in him when no one else had. She had stood by him, defended him, loved him without condition. And now she was gone. Back in Los Angeles, preparations for Taylor's funeral were underway. The Forrester mansion, once a place of celebration and unity, had become a center of mourning. Black garlands draped the entrance, and the air was thick with sorrow. Eric Forrester moved somberly through the halls, overseeing arrangements with a heavy heart. Steffy, her grief carved into every line of her face, took charge of many of the details, channeling her heartbreak into ensuring that her mother's memory would be honored with dignity and love. Hope remained close to her mother, Brooke, who was slowly recovering from her injuries. Despite her physical healing, Brooke's emotional wounds ran deep. She knew the funeral would be another crucible to endure, a place where old wounds might be torn open anew, where forgiveness might be out of reach. The town buzzed with speculation about Thomas's return. Would he lash out at Brooke? Would he rally behind Steffy's accusations? Or would he find a way to honor his mother's memory without succumbing to the anger that had once nearly destroyed him? When Thomas finally arrived at the Forrester estate, it was as if a wave of energy swept through the grieving house. He stepped through the doors, a somber figure clad in black, his face pale but set with grim determination. Family members gathered, greeting him with tearful hugs and whispered condolences. The weight of his loss settled even more heavily on his broad shoulders as he moved through the home that had once been filled with his mother's laughter. Seeing Steffy again was both a balm and a fresh wound. They embraced fiercely, holding onto each other as if trying to keep from shattering completely. There were no words that could encompass their shared grief, no sentences that could soften the brutal reality of what had happened. In private, Steffy brought Thomas up to speed. She laid out the facts as she saw them, how Brooke had been alone with Taylor when the fire started, how Brooke's version of events seemed suspicious and self-serving, how their mother had paid the ultimate price. Thomas listened, his jaw tightening with every word, his heart breaking all over again. Yet when Steffy pressed him, urging him to see Brooke as their mother's killer, Thomas hesitated. Memories of his own misdeeds, his own moments of darkness, flooded back. He had walked that road before, the road of hatred and vengeance, and it had nearly destroyed him. He couldn't blindly follow that path again, no matter how deep his grief ran. Still, he agreed with Steffy on one point: answers were needed. The truth, whatever it was, had to come to light. Taylor deserved that much. The day of the funeral arrived with a gray, heavy sky that seemed to mourn alongside them. The service was held outdoors in the Forrester Gardens, a place Taylor had loved. White roses, her favorite, lined the paths. Soft music floated on the breeze, and a portrait of Taylor, radiant and smiling, stood at the head of the gathering. Family, friends, and colleagues gathered, their faces etched with sorrow. Ridge stood at the front, looking lost and broken, holding a single white rose in his trembling hand. Brooke sat near the back, supported by Hope, her face pale and drawn. She knew many eyes were on her, knew that many blamed her for the loss they were all grieving. Thomas stood beside Steffy, his face a mask of control, though his hands shook slightly as he clutched the funeral program. When it came time for family to speak, Steffy took the podium first. Her voice was strong, but quivering with emotion as she spoke of her mother's compassion, her strength, her endless capacity for love. She made no direct accusations, but her pointed glances toward Brooke spoke volumes. Thomas followed, his steps slow and deliberate. He stood before the assembled mourners, looking out at the sea of grieving faces. For a long moment he said nothing, simply letting the weight of the moment settle over them all. When he finally spoke, his voice was low but clear. He spoke of Taylor's unwavering belief in family, her fierce defense of those she loved, her tireless work as a doctor and a mother. He spoke of regrets, the moments he had missed, the words he hadn't said. He didn't cast blame. He didn't ignite more anger. Instead, he honored Taylor the way he knew she would have wanted, with love, not hatred. As the service ended, mourners placed roses on Taylor's casket, each flower a silent goodbye. Thomas lingered long after most had left, standing by his mother's resting place, lost in thought. In the days that followed, tensions remained high. The questions surrounding Taylor's death continued to gnaw at the family. Investigations slowly moved forward, gathering evidence, conducting interviews. Forensic reports began to align with Brooke's account of the events, but emotions were slow to catch up to facts. Thomas found himself at a crossroads. Part of him longed to lash out, to find a target for his pain. But a deeper, wiser part of him, the part Taylor had always believed in, urged caution, compassion, and truth. He sought out Brooke, confronting her not with rage, but with a quiet, aching need for answers. Brooke, her eyes red-rimmed but steady, told him everything again. Her voice never wavered. She spoke of Taylor's fury, the fire, the heart attack, the desperate attempt to save her. There was no triumph in Brooke's story, only sorrow. Thomas listened. He didn't respond immediately. Instead, he simply nodded, a small, almost imperceptible sign that he had heard, that he understood on some level. It wasn't forgiveness, yet not entirely, but it was a beginning. The road ahead for the Forresters, the Logans, and all of Los Angeles would be long and difficult. Trust would have to be rebuilt. Grief would have to be endured. Memories would have to be honored. And Thomas Forrester, returned at last to his home, and his family would have to find his place in a world forever changed by fire, loss, and the enduring, complicated love that bound them all together.